Hello and welcome to East Coast Bucks. My name is Ernie Freeman. Let me give you a quick little backstory on what East Coast Bucks is and how it got started. So I had always wanted to develop a kind of a video series, a self-filmed video series. So I set up a Facebook page, and recently we're on YouTube now as well. Started that about a couple months ago. Been on Facebook for about a year and a half. That was all geared towards the setup of this show. That's what it was all meant for. That's the only reason I started the page. So this is the first show, that's going to be available on TV, which is what all this was meant for in the first place. And so let me tell you how the show will be. The show is all 100% fair chase. It's all 100% self-filmed this year. All this footage you're going to see through this whole season was all self-filmed. It's all DIY, meaning there's no outfitted and guided hunts shown this year. I'm talking about the first season now. Nothing against guides and outfitters at all. I have a bunch of friends that are guides and outfitters, so I support them guys 100%. I'm just pointing that out to show you that this is not that type of show that a lot of shows are going towards these days, where they kind of have a film crew follow them on a paid for or guided hunt. And, the guide and outfitter, to me, kind of is the one that's doing all the work. So I just wanted to kind of show a hunt from the perspective of a guy, just an average guy like a lot of you out there that are watching this, that's just filming himself. Love the deer hunt. I prefer to bow hunt. And I wanted to point out that here on the East Coast, we got some pretty good bucks too. Everybody always pumps the Midwest, and like I was saying before, on these hunts you see on other shows, a lot of that is all Midwest stuff, and it's expensive hunts. Let's just be honest. So a lot of us over here on the East Coast, we can't afford to do all that stuff. So I wanted to show that there's some good hunting available here on the East Coast. You don't have to necessarily do everything like you see on some of the programs that on TV. Like I say, nothing against them. I love watching them kind of shows too. This is just a different type of show, a different format. So let's get on to it. This is the 2019 season that I'm getting ready to show you. Had already taken a pretty good buck earlier in the year over in Maryland. And this is going to be the second one of the year. We're about midway during the rut for this hunt. And let's jump right into some of the action that was leading up to the main hunt that this show's all about. And I'll get back with you here in a minute.
Getting late in the bow season. I'm trying to get this big 9 before these gun hunters hit the woods. Once the gun hunters hit the woods in this area, this deer will be gone. This place gets hunted hard. There's a good deer in here. There's actually a couple good deer in here. We're after a big, tall, thick 9. And he's been coming in here getting the last of these acorns. There's some red oaks. Earlier in the year they were feeding on the white oaks in here, but right now they're on these red oaks. And I got pictures of them yesterday. You he's coming in here. There's a couple hot scrapes, and I believe there might be a hot doe in the area because I saw 2 shooter bucks in here on camera yesterday. So stay tuned, let's see what happens. Getting ready to get quiet.
Okay, welcome back. So as you see, my season's progressing pretty good. Seeing a lot of deer. I was able to take a pretty nice deer early season in Maryland, so I'm holding out for a nice buck. I'm actually really looking for one in particular. He's a great big wide 8-pointer. He's about 25 inches wide. I've been hunting for 2 years. And I'm getting ready to show you a clip of him. I only got about 30 seconds of him. And I got a bunch of trail camera pictures of him this year. But this deer, he's an old deer, I mean a real old deer, and he's a smart deer, obviously. So I'm getting ready to show you that clip, but I just wanted to show you a couple hunts that was leading up to that. And we're getting around that week where I'm getting ready to show you the main hunt coming up, so I wanted to show you how my season had been progressing. Seen a lot of deer, a lot of 2-year-olds, a lot of 3-year-olds, a lot of good up-and-coming bucks, a lot of action, but I'm just not seeing that caliber that I'm holding out for. Still great hunts. Every hunt's a great hunt in my book. But, you know, I hadn't seen what I am really looking for yet. And you'll see in this clip, this is the one I'm looking for, and I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, welcome back. So as you saw, that was my target buck that I'm after, and I'm going to put a trail cam pic of him also on there, since I know you weren't able to see him that great on the video. But that's a mega 8-pointer right there, and that's the buck I've been after for 2 years. Now there's a couple other good bucks in this area, but that big boy, it's right here. Like I say, we're right there in the middle of the rut, so he usually keeps them other bucks out of this little area that I'm hunting around this time. So he's got a main little area. It's the only place I've ever got pics of him at. And I'm kind of bouncing around. Now when I say I'm moving my sets, I'm probably only moving 200-300 yards. So I'm not really moving too far from what I know is his main preferred bedding area, which is a gnarly thicket. And it's up on a big hill. I know he likes to go up there in late morning and work his way up there. So that's where I was at in that video that I just showed you. And what had happened was he was coming through about 10 o'clock late morning bumping does, and I thought for sure it was going to go down, but as you've seen, it didn't. he was on that doe. He wouldn't respond to a grunt call. And now I had a shot. As you saw in that video, I could have took that shot. That's only 35 yards away. And just before I got the camera on him, he was in an opening. But that's the deal with this self-filmed camera deal. You know, if you think it's easy, I encourage you to try it sometime, because it's not. Because that was a buck. I'm not saying I could have actually killed him, but I would have been able to get a shot off had it not been for the camera. But anyway, so let's move on to what I'm thinking after that. So that was a morning hunt. So now I'm getting frustrated, because I'm all over these deer. I'm all over them. I've seen him. I've seen another good one the evening before, and I'm thinking, well, what can I do? Like I say, this is crunch time. It's just before shotgun over there in Maryland. So I have a spot not too far from this. It's in the same patch of woods, not too far away, that I usually only hunt late season. And I'll usually put corn out there in late season. Now, during the middle of the rut, personally, I've never had too much success hunting over corn. Now, I know some guys who have, but for me, in this area that I'm hunting, it's never worked too much for me, because usually they're just cruising through bottlenecks and scrape lines and little draws and things like that. So that's what I'm usually hunting around the rut. Little places where they can push a doe through, and just like that, what I just showed you, that was the perfect scenario. The only problem was he went back the other way instead of coming up to his bed area, pushing that doe up the hill. So now I'm deciding, I said, let me go up there on the hill. Not only that, but they can wind you so much easier down in that bottom. I said, let me get back up on that hill for an evening hunt, and I'll see what's going on. I'll go up there and hunt this evening. Maybe I'll throw a little corn out on that corner spot. What that is, it's a corner of a grown-up field, a real old grown-up field. It's got some little trees in it, and they skirt this corner a lot, and they come through there. Like I say, it works a lot better in late season, but it's in the same right area, so I said, let me go up there and try it. So I go up there that evening and, throw out a little corn, just a little bit, not very much. Just enough to hold them in that when they come through that corner of that field, just to get them to kind of stop there for a minute, especially if a doe comes through and a buck's on her. So that was my mindset. So I decided to do that. Don't see anything that evening. Have a couple does come through off the corner of that field. I said, well, if the does are coming through there, maybe I'll slip up in here and the first thing in the morning. Maybe, one of them does will find, a buck will find her out in this field later on tonight, and she'll drag them back in here in the morning. So lo and behold, let's pick it up the next morning, and we'll see if my theory worked.
He's down over here about 50 yards. Hit him right behind the shoulder. Perfect. I can see him. He barely twitched over there. He's only over there about 50 yards. I was shocked to see that deer. I haven't seen that deer all year. He's an old buck. I call him the hole in the horn buck. Yes. Well, here he is. It's starting to rain on me, so I don't have a whole lot of time before the camera gets drowned. But just wanted to do a quick recovery recap. He didn't go 50 yards, but I let him sit over there for a while. I wasn't sure if he was just laying down or dead. He was dead as a doornail. He's stiff as a board right now. It's been about 3 hours. Big old deer. A lot of pictures of him last year. I don't know that I have any pictures of him this year, but big old melon head on him. Confused him with another deer. I thought he was actually the 10. It wasn't one I was going to pass up regardless, but good deer. I'm going to get him out of here before I get soaking wet, and we'll do a little more recap when I get back to the house. As you can hear, it's starting to pour, so I just wanted to get some video of them before I start this long drag, and I'll get some more of them when I get back to the house.
Okay, welcome back. So as you saw, the theory kind of panned out. A lot of times it doesn't, but it did that time. And let me give you a little more backstory on what I just showed you, because I wasn't able to put it all on camera because a lot of it happened right at first light and had to cut a lot of that out. So I slipped up in that stand. It's real tall. I call it the Eagle's Nest, and it's my late season spot. You might have even seen it in some other videos. But it's a late season spot that I only hunt late season usually. So anyways, I slipped up in there real early, and love this set because it's a lot of cover for late season. Even though we're not in late season right here during this hunt, there's still a lot of leaves on the trees. So I could have pretty much been in any tree, but it's just it's in a good area. So I get in there, and I already hear something in the corner of that grown-up field. Now it's dark, and I know he heard me coming through, but I'm not sure. He didn't spook, whatever it was. I'm saying he because I was able to see him once it got light. Well, as it got light, and I can barely see him out there, it's that great big 8-pointer that I'm after. So he kind of does the tiptoe out of there right at first light, and I'm like, man, did I bump him off? Did I bump him off? Well, anyways, what I just showed you happened right after that, a little bit later on in the morning, actually a couple hours after that. Had one more little 8-pointer that came in also in low light that I didn't put on the video just because it was too grainy. But as you see, it panned out, and I want to thank everybody for watching the show. This is the first episode, and it's going to be a lot more hunts real similar to that. It's going to be a lot of Virginia rut-style hunts over acorns and things of that nature. A lot of diversity in these shows. It's going to be a bunch of different types of shows and different types of spots. And but all here on the East Coast, all self-filmed. And anybody that's not already following the page, I encourage you to follow East Coast Bucks on Facebook or YouTube. And there's a lot of little clips, and there's a lot of trail cam pics, and there's some neat stuff on there. So thank you, and I'll see you next week.